Well, welcome viewers, you're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Yep, thank you for joining me. We're going flight boarding. We're going to hydrofoil electrically. We're going to walk on water and talk about relationships once I get going. Just let me get it in the water. Here we go. The water's very cold at the moment. Thank you for joining me. You're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia, on the flight board. I hope you enjoyed the scenery. Relationships are hard, they're not easy. We were never told they were going to be easy. We knew there was always going to be that element of being hard. And therefore it's our responsibility to take our time and to get it right. Too often, too many of us rush into relationships and we struggle with the conflicts that can come out of them. We don't discern properly, we don't get it right. And then we struggle with trying to resolve things, and that causes conflict. When conflict starts, we then struggle with how we're going to fix things if we're able. A lot of the time we strike conflict and we're just not prepared for it. But conflict is a part of a relationship, and there's always a way of fixing things if we really want to. It really comes down to our personal ability or value to want to do that. And going through a breakup isn't what you go into a relationship for, but it is a possibility. So we need to have the tools to cope with the possibility of a breakup within our relationship. I hope you're enjoying the scenery and the trip. We're walking on water on the flight board. One of the big keys to having a potentially great relationship is to not rush into anything. Try not to rush into things too soon. Be fair on yourself and fair on the other person. One of the things that could be a major warning sign is if the person that you're with does want to rush sex. That could be a major warning sign to you that you're dealing with a person that's looking for supply, sexual supply. And that may not work in your favor in the long run, when you're really needing things to be of substance. And what possibly can happen is, while you're looking for substance, this person will disappear and only surface again when they're ready to have sex again. And that could really be detrimental to your mental health, because you'll start to wonder where this person is, why aren't they present, and how does this make sense in an intimate relationship? Well, to make sense of it is you are being used as a form of supply. You're being used as a form of sexual supply. That's the bottom line of it. That's the truth of it. And unless you can come to terms with that, we just get our composure back. So there was a boat submerged under the water and we hit it. We're back on track, but in a relationship, it's not until you really get your foundation laid that you're going to understand more about that person and what you're going to deal with and what you need to deal with. And this could make the difference between whether the relationship's going to make it or not. Because the more you get to know someone, the more you value someone, the more chance you've got of making that relationship work. And in the long run, that's what we want. We want our relationships to work. Or we should. And so it takes time. Now, as I was saying before, one of the warning signs could be somebody wanting to rush, wanting to have sex. And I've made this mistake myself. I haven't wanted to rush, I've just accommodated the situation at that time. And somehow or other, things just didn't seem to work out the way that they should have. And that's disappointing, and it's hurtful, and it's no good for anyone. It's not how you want things to go. So one of the things to avoid that is to take your time. Another thing is to, and this is one that contends with a lot of people, is to be straight. Be straight. Don't be under the influence of anything. And maintain your mindfulness. That's a big one. Maintain your mindfulness. And that'll keep you attractive and interesting to the person that you're with. Because mindfulness is a big thing in a relationship. It's what people want to see, it's what people want to know, that you're aware of what's going on, that you're considering the health and welfare of the relationship, and that you're being mindful of yourself and the other person. This is important because this enables the other person to have a confidence in you and your application of yourself to the relationship. Now I'm going to steer wide. I come in too shallow on that last approach. I'm going to steer wide and stay wide. There's the traffic. Yeah, we got through better that time. And so as you get to know the other person, you will then be able to work out what your values are relative to the relationship. And this is what you want. You want to be able to have value flowing from both sides. You want value proceeding into the relationship from both parties. And that's what makes it worthwhile. You have to have the value proceeding from not only just yourself, but the other person. And this takes all different kinds of strategies and skills from yourself, personal development, self-awareness, self-love, self-acceptance. Feeling worthy of yourself is another big one. I've had women say, I just don't feel worthy, and they should have. There was really no reason why they shouldn't have. But they didn't do the work on themselves. They were probably neglecting themselves in one way or another. And in turn, this was causing a sense of unworthiness. That then comes back to the relationship in negative form and begins to have detrimental effects, because the person might suffer insecurities, which then is going to cause them to be in one way or another contentious, at least in the spirit, and this will cause an element of concern to the person that they're with, maybe yourself. Why aren't you feeling the way that you should, given the projection of the relationship and the way in which we're going? See, a lot of trouble in relationships isn't necessarily by immorality. It can be by psychological health, mental health. Mental health plays a big part in how a relationship's going to formulate and work out. And if somebody's just not right, they're just not psychologically right in their mind, that's going to wear on the relationship and the health of it. And in turn, that'll wear on you. And you'll be wondering why you're putting in the effort. Another thing can be, and this is where you've got to be careful, as I said before, if somebody rushes into sex, this will give you opportunity to ask yourself, is this person just using me as an instrument for sex? And you've got every right to be aware of this and ask that question. We must go around this wider this time. That's better. And if you're just me, so you need time to get to know who the person is that you're dealing with. And once you've figured that part of the relationship out, then you can proceed from there. I hope you've enjoyed this journey. It's been a bit of a rough one. We hit a submerged aluminium or fiberglass small boat, and then we hit a crutch. Somebody's just thrown one of their walking crutches in the water. But the key to relationships, modern day relationships, is to take your time. Just take your time. And if you take your time, things will work out for the better. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.